I think few people have already started coming in.
Yeah, I can see 3 attendees.
Yeah, we'll wait for a few more and then we'll start in less than a minute or so.
Sure. How many participants are we anticipating?
We will have to see. I mean, we have well over 100 registrations.
Okay.
So, yeah, so let's see how many people are able to attend. So, anyways, let's not wait and we'll start so that people who will be
Don't
joining
leave,
in
right?
later can.
Right.
So, first of all, thank you so much for attending today's session. As you all must be aware that today's session is about acing your first business analyst role. So we will be going through some of the aspects of starting a business analyst career. Like we'll try to understand what is the role of a business analyst. We'll try to understand that how what kind of skills, technical or soft skills one needs to develop and how they can develop them, and um, any additional other additional aspects of the career. So for the same, I'm quite happy to welcome Parnas Bhardwaj. He is going to be the speaker for the session today. He is a lead business analyst at his organization, and he's also an entrepreneur and an avid learner side by side. So we will be learning from him today. Also, to the attendees, if you have any questions regarding the topic, if you have any questions in your mind, this will be the time that you can clarify them. So once we are done with the presentation, we will be taking the questions from the Q&A box. So you have to post in the Q&A box, remember. Try to avoid the chat window because sometimes they get missed. So yeah, without any further delay, Parnas, please begin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today. So let's just jump into our presentation for the day. I hope my screen is visible.
It's still loading.
Okay. Let me know once it is loaded.
I think it's taking some time to load. What you can do is you can reinitiate the screen share.
I think it is visible now.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
great. Okay, cool. So guys, as the first text says, let's jump into the life of a business analyst. Let's look at the agenda for the day. We'll start with a short introduction and then we'll move on to roles and responsibilities for a BA, prerequisites, skills and resources, and last we'll have a look at the career path. Okay, so before we start with the introduction, let me tell you about myself. I have a decent amount of, let's say, around 8 years of experience into professional experience, around which majority of my experience has been around being a marketing analyst or being an analyst in an organization, taking care of operations perspective into e-commerce, into edtech, these verticals. From past couple of years, from past 3 or 4 years, I've been doing a lot of business analytical roles and I've been taking care of business verticals where I'm being the key member in involving the changes into the organization, in taking care of legacy promotions and taking care of involving new elements into the business and looking at that growth happening from this vertical to that vertical. So yeah, let's move ahead and look at the first introduction. So what is BA, also known as business analyst? It's a professional who plays a crucial role in organizations by analyzing business operations and identifying areas for improvement and recommending solutions. So there are three things what we are talking about. analyzing business operations. So when we talk about operations, there are n number of things parallelly going on in a business, and we have to look at those verticals which where we can analyze and see what new verticals can enhance the operational values of the organization, or what are we getting from these actions, and if we perform some other actions, can we enhance the output or some ways into that. Areas of improvement, be it quantitative, be it qualitative, anything where we can improve our output, we are happy to do that. And recommending solutions, always not always technical solutions, sometimes it can be functional solutions, sometimes it can be some other solutions which can be helpful in any kind of let's say enhancing business operations, or probably creating a good environment at the workplace. So all of these things are part and parcel of a BA position. Now let's have a look at the goals of BA. We have around 4 goals of a individual BA. BA is a BA. I mean, what we do is we keenly observe and analyze various aspects of a company, and we try to understand what business is doing, how it operates, and where potential issues lie. This involves evaluating existing processes, systems, and policies. So whatever current policies or business systems are going on, we constantly evaluate those, and we identify what all problems are happening in my current organization. So let's say if I work for I'll give you a very niche example. If I work as a vendor who is selling out something and is seeing that, my items are not being sold. So what he'll do is probably he'll experiment in the stack of items which he or she has kept, so that people get more eyeballs onto the first row of items, so that people get more attraction to that. So usually you see, if there are some vendors outside at the road or a shop, there are attractive items outside at the shop, so people get that uh, desire to buy stuff. So these kind of problem identification, we would do at our business operations, where we identify what all new involvement or process systems can be involved, so that we have a clear path on how to identify a problem. Next goal is to enhance the efficiency. Now, once we identify the areas of improvement, our business analysts will work to enhance the efficiency. Now, when we talk about efficiency, it can be in two terms. It can be my quality. Let's say right now I'm producing n number of items. If I enhance my quality, it can be n plus x number of items. If we talk about quantity, it can be other parameters which are talking about the same. So, though when we talk about efficiency, it's always multi-matrices, not only just quantity and quality. It can be also behavioral, functional, and technical aspects of it. So we determine how current processes can be optimized, leading to a streamlined process. The role of a BA is basically to identify things, and then connect the dots to, this is the problem, and doing this will actually enhance the problem, or sorry, enhance a solution which will probably enhance my efficiency to the system. Next is stakeholder interaction. As a journey of a BA, you'll be having a lot of interaction with a lot of stakeholders within the organization and probably outside the organization. So if you are into an IT sector, there is a possibility that you are interacting with multiple clients, and again stakeholders, and majorly into the leadership. So we over here engage with a lot of stakeholders, including team members, management, and users. Users are basically those who are going to utilize the functionality that we are working on. So it can be my software, it can be my software users, it can be if it's an edtech vertical, if it can be my students, if it's a medical industry, it can be my clients, or let's say patients for that matter. The whole point of having a stakeholder interaction is to gather requirements, collaborate on solutions, and ensure alignment with the business goals. So we have a predefined business goals always set for us. So we would always gather requirements, or collaborate with the stakeholders to get a solution out of it. So let's say currently we are having one functionality which is providing one solution. Having a stakeholder interaction will get us into their shoes, and will be able to understand what exactly is the end user facing, and how can we enhance their solution or the functionality that they are experiencing. Next is impactful decision making. All of this, why we are doing it? To make an impact at the end user's life. Again, as I said, end user can be anyone who's using our technology or our software or anything. So we are doing all of this so that we can have a impact on their life. While role isn't it about directly making money for the company, their actions and decisions significantly impact our financial prospects. So whatever we do, these impacts are going to enhance the financial reports or probably work on the once we get the better numbers or better matrices, we'll be having an impact on our financial prospects. By improving processes, they indirectly contribute to the profitability. So once we are enhancing the profitability, we know that we are working in the right direction. Next is roles and responsibilities. Major two roles are basically requirement management. So we have to understand where exactly is the what is exactly is the primary what exactly is the requirement of the end user. We have to define the requirement. We have to capture and evaluate the requirements to produce the technical solution. So we have to define, this is missing, capture exactly where exactly it is missing, how exactly we'll be able to create the solution, and evaluate the requirement into numbers, so that once we know if the solution is going to be evaluated, these all users will be affected due to that technological solution for the business problem or to enhance the sales revenue. We also need to play a crucial role in sustaining requirements throughout a project, ensuring alignment with business needs. Next is areas of improvement. One of the key role is to assess and identify area for improvement in companies' existing processes. So we have predefined business processes. We always need to look for areas for improvement into the business. What we do for that is we keenly observe operations and recommend enhancements. Next is modernizing system. There's a term called legacy modernization. So every technology, or let's say every sector, is working on some particular software or some particular portal. After a period of 5 years or 10 years, we'll be enhancing our systems, or let's say modernizing our systems. That particular term is called legacy modernization. So by investing and evaluating on IT developments and contemporary business practices, business analysts contribute to system modernization. Why do we do this? So that we can have a better system with better efficiency. What do we need to do this? We need to stay updated with the technology advancements to optimize processes. Imagine there was a world where earlier all of us were using Skype, but now we are using Zoom or other tools because we are modernizing our systems. Next is concept presentation. We have to present our concepts or findings at the meetings in a very effective and easy to digest manner. So whatever is the figures or communication that we want to give, it should be essential to convey insights and propose solutions in a very easy to read and easy to grasp manner. Next is coaching and training. We also play a crucial role in coaching and training employees. This ensures that teams understand and adapt to changes effectively. And the last is collaboration with the stakeholders. We cooperate with the stakeholders and users. The stakeholders are people along with I'm working. Users are the end users. They might or might not be working along with me. We gather requirement and share feedback and ensure alignment with the organization goals. Next is prerequisites to start a career in business analyst. So what do we need to start? What do we need to have as a BA? We definitely need to have a degree. We need to gain our knowledge into computer programming knowledge. When I say programming knowledge, it's not the coding knowledge. It's basically understanding how a system works, how to do the random research for the prerequisite, how to work on tools like Acing and other tools. I'll be sharing about them later on. And then to have a basic experience. Why having some experience is important? So that you can understand how organizations work, how the flow of hierarchy works, and whom to reach out for what kind of communication. That is where experience comes into play. Next is your training. This is where exactly your BA or your business analytical training starts, where you seek a course and you start training yourself into it. And then the last portion is the certification. So here are around 4 or 5 kind of certifications, where the CBAP, Certified Business Analysis Professional, is the most important course. Now I'll tell you one thing. people always assume that doing a certification will get them a job easy. But I'll tell you what, more than your certification, your training is the key. Your training is important. So once you start looking into a BA as a career, you train yourself into it. And after you are done with your training, then you can start applying for a job. Okay, let's say I come out to a scenario where company XYZ is asking me, to have a certification, and then only we can apply for job. However, if you have cleared all your interviews and everything, you ask for a amount of time, let's say a week or two, and then you clear your certification. That is when you can actually start having a job after the certification. However, I'm not saying this that doing a certification directly will not get you a job, but yeah, my emphasis is to maintain your knowledge and gain as much as knowledge you can during the training phase, and then start looking for job. Next, let's look at the skills that we need as a BA. So first of all, it's an analytical skill. Analysts use Excel and data processing, workflow analysis, and documentation. Documentation, pretty much well. When we talk about documentation, there is an approach which most of the BAs follow, which is called 5W2H, which stands for why, what, when, where, who, and 2H means how and how much. So why is happening? Why are we doing this? What exactly are we doing? When is when this will be deployed, or when this use case hits, and then where we'll be deploying it. Though it can be a platform, it can be a software, etc. Then 2HR basically how much, and how is the process, how exactly are we gonna do it. Next is leadership skills. We guide team members, we manage budgets, and we support our colleagues. So a bit of leadership skill is always involved when you are a BA. Might not be there much as a junior BA, but once you started BA for a duration of 2 or 3 years, you seek more yourself towards into the leadership skills, and that is where you guide team members and manage budgets, etc. Third is business process and planning. We plan project designs, we understanding and specification, and resource allocations are essentials. So these skills are, if you think you have these skills, probably BA is your one destination. Then technical acumen, where you need to understand the technical knowledge in operating systems and databases, and SDLC. SDLC stands for software development lifecycle. So what is the initial phase, what is the retro phase, what is the testing phase, all these things are called as SDLC. Okay, moving ahead, let's look at the resources. How exactly uh, mm, can we become a BA? So there are multiple courses covered out in internet. I'll tell you what worked for me. I did a BA course from Simply Learn, and this was the one. I have shared the link over here. So I did this course. After that, I did a Agile course, which was Certified Scrum Master, and then again certified Scrum specialization from Coursera, and one more project management course from Coursera. But what is most important out here is understanding these particular tools. So any of the course which is covering any of these majority of these tools, it is a good to have. So I must have a basic understanding of MS Excel. So if you know how Power Pivot works, if you know how macros work in Excel, you are pretty much close to it. Working on Jira software is one essential, but yeah, many companies prefer other software, so it is debatable. Again, working on Power BI and Tableau are two things which are required. Power BI and Tableau both are dashboarding tools. So we work on raw data on Excel, and to show that data on a tool, we use Power BI or Tableau. So these things, there might be chances where you will be also involved in working on data using my SQL and Python. So these are edge cases where we also work as DAs, which is business analysts also work as data analyst. Next is career path, as I was talking about data analyst. So any kind of analyst, if you're doing any kind of analytical job, you'll be involving yourself more into data, more into network or testing, or let's say marketing numbers, and etc. So once you start doing any kind of analytical job, that is where you start preparing for a BA training course, and you start looking for the certification. Once you think that you are thoroughly done through the BA or BA training and you know most of the elements out of it, you can do a Scrum Master course. Now, Scrum Masters are basically managing multiple BAs. There can be a program where I might have multiple parallel BAs working on multiple projects, and all of them are headed by a Scrum Master. And now multiple Scrum Masters come under the umbrella of a program manager. Now, Scrum Masters have multiple, let's say, designations. Some people call it Scrum Master, people call it Junior, Senior Scrum Master, Master Scrum, things like that. So, coming back to multiple Scrum Masters are being headed by program managers, which are also known as program owners, program product managers, business owners, SMEs, subject matter experts, senior program managers, and program directors. So this is basically a career path. Once you start working as a IT business analyst, you can soon become a Scrum Master, and then you can soon become a program manager. And at the later phase, you can become a product program director or project director, things like that. Next is, okay, here's a code for all of you guys. So continuous improvement is the heartbeat of a progress. Any progress is happening only if there is a continuous improvement thing going on. So even when things seem satisfactory, there's always a room for innovation and enhancement. That is why our retrospection is the key. Whenever we work on something, retrospection is what comes into the picture. So that's all for my time, guys. You can scan this QR code to connect with me after this, and I'll be always available for you guys to share your questionnaire on or your doubts on how to be a BA or your question or as a career mentor for you guys as a BA. Over to you, buddy.
Okay. There is one question that we have. Anyone else? I think there's another person who has raised their hand. You can just post in your question and we will take it up. So right now the question that we have that is how can a fresher start in a role of a business analyst? Can you give a little bit of guidance on that?
Sure, I'll do that. So first thing that you do is you understand that are you able to understand analytical, do you have that analytical skills in your head? So if I'm working on MS Excel and I'm feeling, I just can't work on this tool and it's a pain. So that is where you probably train yourself to work on MS Excel and you work on Zira tool. So one thing which is going to be prominently there as a BA is using MS Excel, using Atlassian tools, Jira tickets, creating on documentation. If you think any of these three things are my thing, I love working on Excel, I love creating documentation, I love making workflows. This is happening, then that is happening, then this is happening. So that is where you can start going for a training of a BA. You can understand what agile methodologies are. One thing which is very important for a BA is to understand and follow agile methodologies. So you can start doing a BA course, or you can probably go for an agile course. And once you are thorough with it, you can go for your job roles, which are demanding analytical approaches, which are demanding agile methodologies or Scrum Masters. And that is where you can start as a BA.
Okay. Next question is that coming from a non-tech background, how should we enter into this field?
That's really easy. Trust me, there is nothing to do with background. I have my colleagues who have arts background, who have non-science background, basically, or let's say non-engineering background. So it's all about three or four things in a cumulative, in a nutshell. It's basically your analytical skills. Uh, there can be any evidence where you might be working on Excel, or you might be working on data, and you might be liking it, even though if you're not from engineering background. If you love doing it, if you love working on analytical approach, that is where you can start looking for a BA.
Okay. As of now, I don't have any questions. But if someone still wants to ask, there's still chance you can post a question in the Q&A box. Okay. I think there is another question: how to work on your communication skills?
Okay. So I think this is a ever-going process. You always evolve from where you are to where you'll be tomorrow. So yeah, you can probably start reading books. You can, and communication process is basically two-way thing. It's also your written communication, and your verbal communication. So when you read things, you understand, where exactly is the writer putting a full stop. That is where you, while communicating, you put your spaces or gaps between your statements. And you can watch good movies, there's a book called by Norman Lewis, Word Power Made Easy. If you can cover that book, you'll be at a cream level. I'm yet to cover that book. So yeah, there's a book called Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis.
Okay. Another question. How to work on your analytical skills? Can you suggest a roadmap to start with?
Okay. I'll tell you three, four things. As I have been always constantly talking about Excel, Excel is it's like industry-wide thing for people. I have a friend who is a senior radiologist at Ames. She called me one day and she was like, Parnas, tell me, how does this Excel thing work? So Excel is used across dimensions. So start working on Excel, start looking, you'll be able to, download multiple sorts of data across the net. Start working on that. See how pivot table works, see how you can put dashboards into your Excel file, and how you can make your data, which is in lengths of rows, into a very user friendly manner. So once you understand your Excel, your data, that is where you have an analytical approach.
There's another question. Sir, I'm a BCA student and I know Excel and programming languages. How can I start from here?
Oh, you are almost there. Buddy, what do you do is you can start having, either you can start looking for BA training where you get yourself trained how BA works. So knowing these things are one thing out of it. Now what you'll be facing up is there are like public data listed out there in your website, on your in your business site, where a huge amount of data is being there. Now you have to read that data out there in business sectors. So understanding your knowing how Excel works is one thing. Knowing how to read data is one thing. So you can train yourself on how to read data and put it in dashboard. That is one thing. Second thing is you can start doing basic trainings for BA, which involves data dashboarding, which involves documentation, which involves following the agile methodologies. And also there might be some, let's say, not so costly courses under Udemy where you can do courses into data dashboarding, agile methodologies, and business analysts. So there's always a sale going on in Udemy where you get courses for like 499, 599. That is where you can start doing courses. Once you get these things in your CV, I know data dashboarding, I know I have analytical approach, or let's say I know agile methodologies, you'll automatically fall into the back rollers of Naukri and other platforms, and you'll be getting job roles.
Okay. How about what about SQL and Python? So this is by the same person who asked
Okay.
about the analytical skills. So I guess this is an extension to your answer that Excel, you
Yeah.
have to learn Excel. So what
Get it.
about SQL and Python?
So Excel is one thing which is constant across all the BAs, but having a knowledge in SQL and Python is a good to have thing. So every big institute has multiple DAs, data analysts, who are working dedicatedly on the data. So as a BA, you are majorly involved in, let's say, analytical approaches and documentation and connecting with other stakeholders, etc. So you don't get much time to work on raw data using tools like Python and SQL. But yeah, if you want to follow that, and if you think you have that interest into that, you can probably look for DA courses where you'll be getting yourself trained for Python and SQL. And that's a great approach because you'll be opening doors as a BA as well and as a DA as well. So I think you can actually do it if you are liking it and if you're liking the taste of it.
Okay. Usually companies hire engineers for BA role, as I've seen in many JDs. Coming from a commerce background, how to reach out to the interviewers?
Okay.
Also, do certifications from Udemy courses worth it when you're, going for selection processes?
uh, both the things have one thing in common, both the questions, that is your skill set. I have interviewed people who are engineers from great schools, but they lack that technical acumen or that analytical acumen. And I have interviewed people who might not be from the engineering background, who are from commerce or arts background, but they have that acumen or that technical knowledge into it. And again, coming back to the courses, doing a course again or getting a certification for XYZ doesn't guarantee that you have that skill set. So having your hands on that skill set is a must. Even if I'm not doing a course, if I do have knowledge, I'll be able to go get through the interview. So one thing is having a skill set, and then mentioning those things in your CVs will be probably enhancing your knowledge. Yeah, that is another thing, that if you are an engineer and then you have done these things, you are somehow valued. But it's a matter of 1920. You don't you necessarily need not to be an engineer to do such things. It's all on your based on your skill sets.
Okay, there's another question. Please suggest some authentic MOOC certifications for to be added in the CV.
Okay.
So is there any certifications or courses, particular courses you can suggest? I think some you are already included in your PPT, if I'm not wrong.
Right. They are, and I'll do one thing. I'll share the deck with you. You can probably share it across the platform where they can download it. But yeah, I think any of courses where you are getting major of the knowledge into BA, into let's say, major of the knowledge is into DA, data analysis, into Atlassian tool, or into workflow management, you'll be able to go through it. So there's no particular course about it, but any tool which fulfills your major of the expectations and it comes in your budget, you can go ahead and do it. So not necessarily Udemy, Simply Learn, Coursera, wheresoever you find it right, just do it.
I have shared the link of the YouTube link for this webinar. We are also live streaming on YouTube simultaneously, so you can go back to it and go back to the slide that Parnas had shared regarding the certifications and courses, and you will be able to get the information from there. So that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing so many questions. That sort of, makes it interactive both ways. I am just quickly sharing a feedback poll. You can just, whoever is attending right now, can just let us know that if they found the session useful, whether the topic, I mean, it just helps us understand whether the topics are good, whether the content was good, and it gives us an idea of future sessions. So thank you so much, Parnas, for coming on board and sharing your insights, for patiently answering all the questions. I think we are getting some entries into the feedback poll. Also, just to remind everyone, I have shared the link of the YouTube link, and you can just access the webinar from there also. Once again, Parnas, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice day.
Yeah, I'll just quickly end the poll. So, oh, there's another question. Can I download the PPT? The PPT will be there on the YouTube link itself, as I already said. So you can just go through the presentation over there as well. So yeah. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, everyone.